These are interesting.
Each one of these is one of those.
Oh yeah,
that
the mold
things,
for
molds. See, and they're cement.
nice.
I think I was maybe in the 8th grade. I'm not sure how old I was. Rhodey was great. He was 6 months old when I got him. Yeah. There's nothing cuter than a baby horse. Yeah. I picked beans. And I think he cost $275. Had a horse named Prince. And myself and a girlfriend that lived down the road, we would ride through the woods. We'd turn both the horses loose, and we'd pick beans for the whole day. I remember riding through the woods because one day we came up against a moose. Oh my gosh!
Oh, wonderful.
But you made enough money to get a pony. You must have worked a lot.
I worked all summer. These are my father's drawings.
Oh,
How nice to have
What
that.
a
What a
riot.
gift.
What the paper is, because I know he never had any paper.
Oh, look at that.
manufacturing thing.
That's great. No wonder you're so inspired.
Yeah.
Alda Yakitis,
Sounds like a sickness.
little Yugoslavian beauty. I had worked with her. Did I work with her in Boston or New York? I don't know which.
As a nurse.
Yeah.
So you had been working and now you took a break. How did you pay for this?
Wasn't that expensive.
Okay.
And we hitchhiked. It paid to be an American.
Yep.
The biggest education I've ever had, that trip.
So what was the takeaway that you learned?
Just how wonderful everybody is.
Art, it's about the process, not the product
Absolutely.
or the showing in a gallery. I mean, it feels good. It's nice to have some money to pay for paintbrushes,
Yeah.
but it's about the process of being curious and creative.
Curiosity is about the most important thing, because unless you are curious about things, you don't look deep into the situation.
So does art help you do that?
Probably.
Have you ever been intimidated by taking on a new medium?
No.
Me neither.
Growing up, it was if you found something in a store that you liked, Betty would always say, I can make that.
That's right.
Oh
And you know what she did?
I'm going to make a book.
Love these. Oh, good. It's lovely. This is fine. I'm learning to laugh at my mirror in the morning. She always laughs back. Let's reach for the sky. There must be someone out there reaching to find us. And look at the image.
I think it's a very dark picture. I'm going to put some more color in the leaves behind their head, lighten it up. I'm going to put some more areas of light behind them.
To me, it's a joyful, playful picture.
I like it.
I do too.
Now that we've heard about your childhood on a farm and the playing in the woods and everything, it almost feels like an autobiographical
Yeah, ode to that.
story.
Oh, we
Your own
always- yeah.
story, you know?
Yeah.
Right here.
Childhood is so important.
It is.
Yeah.
So-
Climbing trees was so wonderful.
Yeah, I love climbing trees
Yeah.
too. What is it that you look for when you do a portrait?
There are two things. It has to be a good painting, and I think it has to look like the person. You have to be able to identify it with a person.
Why do you want to do a portrait?
I think because of my 4 kids and my grandkids, it's just so much fun. My granddaughter's wedding present, which I'm a little late with.
She's gotten married already.
Is she still married?
Yep.
Good.
Married with a child.
Yeah,
So that shows you how long ago it was.
at least 9 months. Oh, that's wonderful.
Have you worked on it since we talked
I
about
don't think I have, no.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to. I've got so many other things going.
Has your mother always had this kind of energy? Since day one, kind of?
She has a lot of energy.
Okay.
And one of my sisters has it, but I don't.
Oh,
But it is uncanny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another, Libby, my sister, is also just,
Wired.
yeah, it's a really good mitochondria or something. Yeah.
As a self-taught painter and sculptor, Betty draws inspiration from her observations and experiences around the world, blending international influences with intimate scenes of life at home. She rejects stylistic boundaries, preferring to experiment with new ways of manipulating light and color across media. Her paintings are deeply rooted in place, depicting Maine landscapes from decades of careful observation. Betty lives in Gardner with her husband George, and at age 90, she still makes something new every day.
Went to Europe with George?
Oh, many times. Yeah.
Really?
We took all the kids.
Are you kidding? Well,
No.
that's your ticket in Europe, isn't it?
Yeah.
The kids. Oh,
Yeah.
you have Bambinos. There you go.
When we had a couple of weeks that we could put aside in the year, we'd go somewhere. First time we did it, I think we went to Washington, D.C. with the kids. And that seemed like an awful lot of fun. And then we started going to Europe. And we went to Europe like 8 years in a row. And we had this friend, Lynn Schlossberg, who said, "Why do you keep going back to England? There's so much more over there." So that's when we started going to some of the other places. We went to Ireland and went to
Germany.
Germany, went to Italy and France. We went to Ireland 4 times.
Yeah.
And never did find where she lived. Typical woman that ran the B&B, and the gal's talking, and she says, "What are you here for? You're American, so you got a relative you're looking up." And I said, "Well, I had a grandmother that was born and raised in this town." And she said, "Give me a name." And Delia Connolly. And the lady laughed, and she said, "Everybody in this town is named Connolly." She said, "This is my husband, John Connolly, and I was Connolly before I was married." So that was the end of our search. Walking the main street, which runs parallel to Galway Bay, one of the brooks seemed to be sort of really interesting as it bubbled along, and we stopped and put our hands on a railing and watched it. And Bert said, "I think Delia must have stopped and watched water go under this bridge." And that's as close as we got to Delia. And I felt as though I really knew who she was. I loved that. She's great to travel with anyway. She always comes up with something.
Betty was telling us that you do a lot of the clipping of the hedge as you come in the driveway.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable. Do you get up on a high ladder to do that, or how's that work?
yeah. We got an 8-foot step ladder
Oh my God.
that can reach.
It's not something that I enjoy.
I
Yeah.
could
And I look
say,
out the window every 5 minutes to see if he's still up there.
wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's not a good thing to do. Well, I like to do it. I'll try to work out another system so I'm not standing on the top step of a step ladder.
So did you both do a lot of gardening together? Were you in the garden? Oh, that's a huge garden.
I'm
that
the
you-
gardener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you didn't do any of the gardening, you just do the giant hedges?
I do the weeding, the grunt work.
Well, that's big to do the weeding.
Yeah.
But you planted and he
But
would
he
weed.
has a little problem. He doesn't know a geranium from a pine tree.
So tell me about living with a character.
Living with a character. Probably the thing I came up with first is it changes so frequently. And her interests, when they go in one direction, they go hard. It isn't just a plain thing. She gets excited about things and it goes in each direction. So it makes life very interesting.
They built this space. They took a course at the Shelter Institute,
Oh,
and this was their project. They did a sunroom,
great.
so it's been wonderful.
Jennifer told me that you guys made that sunroom.
Yes.
that you took a class and you actually built that thing. I think it's extraordinary.
Somewhere there's some pictures
See-
of us in there when it's wide open.
Wow.
I'm amazed how we did it.
I don't think there ever was a real design. That was a window, and so we turned that into a door. And then my brother came down, and it would stop about halfway through that room. And he looked at it and said, "You'll never make this too big, but don't make it too small."
Was
So
that
we
Dick
punched
Bachelor?
out that window and had another door on the other side. And that's about all we did for planning, scheming.
We've lived here
Is
55 years or
1
something.
year.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No wonder there's no room in the walls.
You look back and you said, I don't remember that. How did we do that? You know,
Yeah.
it's really unbelievable.
So, you've been hanging out with this guy for a long time, and you're still together. So, what's the thing that sustains this relationship for you guys?
What's this got to do with that?
It doesn't. It's just, but it's like part of who you are. It's like, I'm interested to know that.
We tolerate each other.
Okay. Acceptance.
What?
Yeah, that's
Acceptance?
Acceptance, yeah.
Well, I don't know. You know,
There you go. That's
when,
good.
when
There's a
you've
little edge
been
to it.
together so long,
It works.
it
Yeah,
it
you
works
get-
or it doesn't work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's working.
There's a lot there. Common, like you've relied on each other for different things over the years.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to admit that sense of humors are quite different. What she thinks is hilarious, I might not really think is all that funny. And I can go wild on something, and she just doesn't have any interest in it at all. So that makes for an interesting situation, too. It works. It always has.
The thing about it, we're total opposites in everything.
Isn't that fascinating?
It is fascinating. It is.
So if you could have peace with total opposites under one roof, yeah, maybe you don't like everything that the other person likes, or even agree with them, but you're living in peace.
Well, you also know where not to tread, don't you think?
Yes, they're very respectful
Yeah.
of each other.
Yeah.
True of all couples that live to their 90s and they can still stay in the same room.
Yeah.
Easy part about it is you really know when you're in trouble or when the conversation's going in a direction that's going to cause trouble, and it's easy to get out of it. Yeah, it's worked over the years very well.
He tolerates having all this creativity.
He puts up with every room in this house being a gallery.
A studio, a gallery, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he really does put up with a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, I asked Mom if I could clear off that desk of her stuff, and she said no. And I said, Dad needs one surface to keep his stuff.
Nice.
This gives you a really good idea of how she has art everywhere in the house. This is the only surface over here where my dad is allowed a little piece of real estate. This is all art. So he gets this spot here, and this is his area where he can have outdoor equipment.
This whole house is really yours.
That's what it feels like.
And
It
he
is, yeah.
And that's that. So he's a very tolerant man. in
He's a
that regard.
very tolerant man. Yeah.
Okay, so he's the reason it survived.
Well, I think so.
He's come out to Monhegan when we've been there
Oh,
in the early years,
Okay.
Betty and I and other, and he would take us to lunch at the Island Inn.
Oh,
and,
very
I mean,
kind.
very kind to us and supportive.
Excellent.
Oh yeah, no, I've had some good times with George.
All right, all right.
This painting was at the Main Art Collective in Portland, and my dad came and bought it back.
Well, I didn't didn't think anything of it when Bert gave the painting to Jennifer to put it in the show. I said, well, that's okay. But then I had Lyme's disease, so I said, before I die, I'm having that picture brought back. I want my picture. I'll pay them anything they want for it, but I need the picture back.